Perhaps more than any other, gymnastics is a sport of dreams. The musings of a child seem to turn to reality before the child herself turns to maturity. The hopes of merely standing on that impossible-looking 4-inch piece of lumber are the things that drove the champions, like Betty Aquino, to the accomplishments of today. The span between hopes and achievement somehow seems shorter in this sport that is for the young. Today's aspirations are tomorrow's abilities. The expanse of the exercise mat lessens with knowledge, the knowledge of a 14-year-old, like United States champion Kim Zmeskal. Appear to the dreamers, it can be done. It is a sport that is bigger than life, a sport whose most dominant figure in the world would appear himself bigger than life. Bela Karolyi is gymnastics' most recognized name and most dominant personality, a big man in a small person's venue. And when the dreaming stops, there are the few who will wake to the possibility of accomplishing something that has not been done before. For the United States women's team, this could be their moment. It is a sport that takes the best of a lot of worlds. Dedication, athleticism, daring, defying the extremes, grace. This is the sport of gymnastics, and these are its championships. We welcome you to the 1991 World Gymnastics Championships here in Indianapolis, Indiana. This is only the second time in a long history of World Championships, dating all the way back to 1903, that this event has been held here on American soil. The last time was in 1979 back in Fort Worth. We could see a first, and the crowd you're listening to right now can be very much a factor in the team competition tonight. Hello, everybody. I'm Barry Tompkins, along with Bart Connor and Kathy Johnson. And Kathy, we might, in fact, see something unprecedented tonight.
The Americans are in second place behind the Soviets and ahead of a very strong Romanian team. The U.S. has never won a World Championship team medal, so this might be history in the making. Kim Zmeskal and Betty Aquino are both here and look very strong. They have very different styles. Kim is short and powerful, and her routines are very quick and energetic. Betty is long and lean, and she really shows off those long lines. And then there's Shannon Miller, who was the top American during the compulsories and actually second out of the entire field. She has one of the most difficult balance beam routines in the world. Keep in mind, never a medal, so this might be a first.
Really would be a first. And of course, Bart Connor, this team is coached by arguably the most recognizable name in the sport of women's gymnastics, Bela Karolyi. What does he bring to this dance?
Well, there's no question that Bela is perhaps more famous than some of his great gymnasts like Mary Lou Retton and Nadia Comaneci. He's the most passionate and intense coach I've ever seen. And he really has his team really peaked. They look great in training. They're not missing any exercises. I think they're going to perform just beautifully here.
Well, Kathy, it is a fact that the United States has a realistic chance, but it is by no means a gimme. Who else is here?
They will have to be very consistent to hold off the Romanians and the Chinese. The Chinese are superb on balance beam and uneven bars, but a little weak on floor exercise and vault. And the Romanians are the only team to ever beat the Soviet Union at the World Championships, so we know their potential.
Well, the Romanians will be on beam first. Kathy, advantage, disadvantage?
Well, it can be a very precarious event to start on, but historically they're very solid on this event, especially when the pressure is on.
So let's take a look at how the rotations will be. The United States will start on the uneven bars, as you see the Soviet Union on vault, the Romanians we mentioned on beam, and the Chinese in floor exercise. So once again, everybody kind of giving this one to the Soviets. The battle is for the rest, and this battle is brought to you by Diet Coke. You're going to drink it just for the taste of it. And by Bud Dry. Dry brewed so it drinks light, yet satisfies completely. We welcome you to the first rotation. This, the women's team final, and hopes high for a United States medal for the first time. United States, of course, coached by Bela Karolyi.
She's got it.
And here is the way the United States will line up for the uneven bars.
And there's a lot of strategy involved in determining the lineup. It's very similar to baseball in their batting lineup. That first gymnast up is certainly counted on to get on base or come up with a very solid score and set the pace for the entire event.
And of course, for the Soviet Union, they've got 5 home run hitters.
This is unbelievable. Any one of their gymnasts could be the final gymnast up on any of these teams. Look at that, a double twisting Yurchenko for the first vault. That is incredible.
Natalia Kalinina.
What's amazing about this young lady, she's the Goodwill Games all-around champion, and here she's almost sacrificed going up as the first performer.
This is one of the most difficult vaults being done in women's gymnastics. You can see her push off the horse. She has to generate enough speed and power to crank 2 twists before she lands. Now, as you said, Bart, the first gymnast up is almost sacrificed. They tend to score a little bit lower, even if the routines are the equivalent of some of the final performances, because the judges wait for those bigger scores to come in later in the lineup.
Well, she sure didn't leave much room to get better. 9-9 on her first vault.
This is exactly why the Soviets are the best in the world. They start with 9-9s and they finish with almost 10s. Another incredible vault.
They will take the best of the 2, of course.
Which I'm sure will be her first vault. This wasn't quite as good, but almost. Look at that, just a slight hop on the landing.
So it might cost her a little bit. Another look.
Again, this is the Yurchenko vault. It's a round-off entry. It's become very popular in women's gymnastics.
So we'll see if Kalinina can improve on that 9-0 and does, or 9-9 rather, and does not 9-8-7-5. But boy, does that set a tone. Hillary Grivich of the United States now on the uneven bars.
And Hillary is second up. First girl up, Michelle Campy, scored a 9.8. A great start for the United States. These gymnasts are very well prepared for this competition. Here's her release move. She doesn't have the most difficult uneven bar routine here, but it's very solid and certainly will keep the momentum going for this team. Here comes the dismount, a double back, and a good landing. Those will be so critical throughout the competition, particularly when it's this close, and they've got to try and stay ahead of the Romanians, and in order to do that, they've got to stick the landings.
One of the trademark of Bela Karolyi's gymnasts is that he designs a routine that's very predictable. They do one release move, a double back dismount, and many of them do a full twist, as she did there before the double back dismount, to fulfill the requirements but not take any unnecessary risk. He wants young ladies that can hit routines every time.
And there is her score, 9-8 for Hillary Grivich. Very good for the first 2 United States performers. Rosa Galieva, Soviet Union in the vault.
Oh, that is a super vault. Very difficult, particularly for a gymnast of that size. She's quite tiny, and this vault requires so much speed into the horse. Perfect timing on the push in order to pull off that front pike with a half twist. Watch right here, the push. And a good landing. A little bit close to the horse. That will be the only deduction.
Well, Kalinina a 9-9 as the first vaulter, and now Galieva waiting for her score. And her score 9-8-8-7. Not bad. Betty Aquino of the United States on uneven bars. Kathy Johnson, you like the idea of the United States starting out on bars.
I think this is a great rotation for them. They're very solid here. Betty has everything in this routine she needs. Here's a first release move. High Jaeger front. Very well done. She follows that with a reverse hecht coming up right here. So she has 2 release moves out of the way. Only weak part of her routine comes up right here. It's the dismount. It's only a front somersault with a half twist, which is very, very easy. But fortunately for her, in the code of points, that dismount has been upgraded to be a C instead of a B. Of course, elements of difficulty are graded from A to D, D being the most difficult. And it's really not comparable to the rest of her routine. That will be a slight deduction.
And just as the United States getting a good first rotation, so too is the Soviet Union on vault now. Lyshenko.
And they're double twisting Yurchenko. There are only a handful of gymnasts that can perform that vault, and most of them are on the Soviet team.
9.837 the score for Betty Okino on the uneven bars, really indicating a good routine considering perhaps the lack of difficulty.
This Soviet team is so far superior to any of the other teams in this competition. And you can really see it here right on the first rotation. Their level of difficulty is outstanding.
That was Tatiana Lysenko. She is from Kherson in the Ukraine. And again, you have to pose the question as you see her score 9.975, leaving not much that's up from there. But you really have to wonder now what will happen to the Soviet team when, of course, the republics become teams of their own. Two of their team here from the Ukraine, for instance. Shannon Miller of the United States, and she too has kind of burst upon the gymnastics scene.
This is a great event for Shannon. She has quite a bit of difficulty in the routine, starting out right here with a full pirouette into a ginger. Nicely done. She has to watch slight form breaks. You can see her toes come unpointed sometimes. Those are very minor deductions. Watch this. Unbelievable. Full twisting double back. No one does that dismount better than Shannon Miller. Excellent execution.
Really nailed it there. Shannon Miller of Edmonds, Oklahoma. To the joy of the crowd here and to her coach.
Here you'll see her reverse hecht, which was her second release move. Plenty of height. And this really is the highlight of her routine.
This is a double back with a full twist. Great rotation. She finishes it easily.
So we await the score now for Shannon Miller, and a 9.9 on bars. Terrific for Shannon Miller.
One of the greatest lines I've ever heard a coach say was her coach, Steve Nuno, saying that she doesn't have a lot to say, she has a lot to do. She's very quiet, very shy, but intensely motivated.
And the Soviet Union already starting to hide from this field in the team competition, even in the midst of the first rotation. Tatiana Gutsu.
She performs the double twisting Yurchenko as well. This has become the Soviet compulsory vault, and they do it so well. The best part about her vault is the distance that she gets on the afterflight.
Well, they started with a 9.9. They haven't dropped off a bit.
Gutsu's the European Cup champion. As you mentioned, Kathy, although she has a little form break in the early part of that vault, she really travels a great distance from the horse. And that's tough for a young lady who's only 4 feet 5 inches tall.
That was her first vault. There is her score, 9.887. She, of course, will have another and an opportunity to better that score.
Bart, as you mentioned, she doesn't quite have the same polish as some of her teammates. Watch closely to see if she can keep her legs together and her toes pointed throughout the entire vault. Better landing on the vault. She's a little off center on the landing, however, and the legs still came apart right as she made contact with the horse.
How many times we heard this story, though? She said when she was 6 years old, she was selected out of a kindergarten class to train in gymnastics. So many of the Soviets and the Romanians got their start from the same way.
For better or worse, second vault, 9.925 for Tatiana Gutsu. So she does improve from the first vault. And that she likes. We'll be back. Bela Karolyi, the coach of this United States team here in these championships with his biggest little charge, Kim Zmeskal. Perhaps the term team might even be a little bit misleading, because what this really is a group of athletes who come together for a very short period of time. August 24th was when this team that we're watching tonight was put together. Kim Zmeskal, of course, everybody figured would be on the team. She didn't disappoint at this special performance to select the team in Indianapolis just a few weeks ago.
Well, the sport of gymnastics is typically very much an individual sport until the World Championships and Olympics, where team is extremely important. And in an effort to pick the strongest U.S. gymnastics team possible, they decided to have the trials a little bit closer to the games in order for them to peak for the World Championships.
Betty Okino, I don't think also would be considered a surprise to have made the team competition here under Bela Karolyi, who is her coach.
This is certainly the strongest U.S. team that I have ever seen fielded. Strong, particularly in terms of depth. They're 4th, 5th, and 6th gymnasts. are extremely well prepared for the World Championships.
I think a lot of sports, particularly team sports, like to select the team 6 months, maybe a year ahead of a major world event. But in gymnastics, you need the people who are hot at the exact right time just before the games start.
And it is interesting, too, at this stage of women's gymnastics in the United States, there's a whole lot of great talent, very young, actually more talent than there are spots on this team. They actually selected out of this process a team of 8, and then it was pared down, of course, to 6. Kim Zmeskal now on the uneven bars.
This is considered by most to be her weakest event, but by far it is not a bad event for her. She has 2 big release moves in the routine, which is more than adequate in terms of difficulty. Here comes the first, a Ginger, just a slight leg separation there. She'll set up for her reverse hecht right here. Here comes the dismount. Very nice, laid out in, double pike. Beautiful work for Kim.
You know, the other thing that strikes me about her, too, she's just a ferocious competitor. Watch the boss, watch the pupil.
It's as if he wills her to make every move.
And he feels her pain and he feels her joy. You got it.
Kim doesn't have great amplitude, but she certainly has sufficient amplitude right there on the first release move. You can see the leg separation just slightly, minor deduction.
So Kim Zmeskal, 9-9-1-2 on the uneven bars. Excellent. And here is the Greta Garbo of women's gymnastics.
Bronze medalist on this event at the '88 Olympic Games. And boy, you can see why. She has impeccable form.
And you will not see that expression change throughout this competition at any time.
She truly is a joy to watch. Look at the leg form, the toes pointed throughout the entire vault. And her trademark landing, 1 foot slightly in front of the other.
9-9-5-0 for Svetlana Bogunskaya. And that's almost the norm for her. And she'll have a try at improving that.
And though her vault is not as difficult as some of her Soviet teammates, because of that beautiful form, she allows no room for deductions.
The Soviets at this point are averaging about 9.9 for their vaulters.
Two identical vaults, both nearly perfect.
Bogunskaya from Minsk in Byelorussia. And Byelorussia is another republic. So it's going to be interesting. Kristina Bontas of Romania now.
She has an incredible mount sequence. Oh, no, she didn't do it connected. Usually she does this entire series without faltering. Of course, that won't be a deduction. It's just an option.
For Bogunskaya on her second vault, 9-9-6-2. So actually a slight improvement.
And as I said at the beginning of the show, historically, they are excellent on this event, even under pressure. They have scores of 985, 9875, 9862, way up there. Back pike, slightly off on the landing, but very minor.
The Romanians have gone through so many changes in the last couple of years because of the fall of Ceausescu, the dictator, and they cut the funding for their training program, sent all the athletes home to their home gyms, and left the National Training Center. And in the last 6 months, they've resumed the funding of the National Training Center, and they look really good here.
They have been a powerhouse in women's gymnastics for the past several years.
Here comes the dismount sequence. It's a round off back handspring to a double back. Watch the height on this dismount. Way up in the air and a great landing.
Well, I tell you, if this first rotation is a sign of things to come, we're going to see some spectacular performances tonight here in Indianapolis. So we come to the end of the first rotation, and it has really been something special so far. No surprise here, the Soviet Union in first place. Well, while we wait for the second rotation to start, let's take you back to some earlier round highlights, because there are a lot of teams all of a sudden starting to get into contention a little bit in the sport of gymnastics. The Bulgarians, for instance, had a very good competition here. This is Silvia Mitova in floor exercise.
And watch her tumbling technique. Opens with a beautiful and very difficult double layout. Unique choice of music and style, all her own. Finished with a very impressive final tumbling run. Her power is very deceiving. She doesn't look like she should have the power to generate this type of tumbling run. Double back, punch front. Routine just had such a great feeling.
So the Bulgarians kind of on the threshold of really moving into the upper echelon of the sport of gymnastics once again. But I'll tell you, if there was really a crowd pleaser, it had to be the Australian team. This is Julianne Monaco of Australia, and they did so well here.
This is probably the most dramatic and impressive improvement of a gymnastics team that I've ever seen. Obviously, an extraordinary amount of work went into this improvement.
This team really captured the fancy of the crowd here at the Hoosier Dome, too.
Certainly did. They employed a new Chinese coach a few years back, and they made some dramatic improvements in the overall program. These young ladies are very well coached.
Remember, the first 12 teams go on to the Olympic Games in Barcelona. So this was kind of a serve notice performance for the Australians.
Really, of all the teams in the competition, they probably had some of the best form that we've seen.
Also had some of the best team spirit that we saw here at the Hoosier Dome. They were together at all times, in the arena, outside the arena, downtown in Indianapolis.
They were 16th as a team in Stuttgart just 2 years ago. Now they find themselves in 6th place. Remarkable.
And again, we talked about the team spirit. There's the coaching staff with them. Australia really captured the crowd. Well, the Spanish men will not be participating in Barcelona, but the Spanish women will. Eva Maria Rueda on the uneven bars.
And we have been delighted with her performances over the last couple of years. Unfortunately, Spain had to compete without one of their top gymnasts, Alicia Fernandez, who tore her Achilles tendon.
2 years ago, this is a team that finished in 10th place in these championships.
It really seems as if the Spanish have a chance of winning some individual medals at least at the Olympics next year. They are very powerful.
So just a few teams to tuck away in your memory bank, perhaps as soon as Barcelona in 1992. Bulgaria, Australia, Spain, and Hungary. They will finish 5, 6, 7, and 8 in these World Championships. Coming up next, the United States. They're headed to the beam. Second rotation after this. Rolly watching his young charge, Kim Zemeskel, as she finishes her warm-ups on the beam. That's where the United States women will be this rotation. Here is the order: Michelle Campy, Hillary Grivich, Carrie Strug, Betty Aquino, Shannon Miller, and, of course, Kim Zemeskel. First up for the United States will be Michelle Campy.
Michelle has played an extremely important role so far in this American story and continues to do so. She's the leadoff gymnast on every single event for the Americans, which comes with a lot of pressure.
Remember, this was an 8-man squad just before the competition. 6 athletes were selected to compete, 2 thus becoming alternates, Sandy Woolsey and Elizabeth Crandall, and it did create a bit of a flap.
2 layout step outs, very well executed.
Michelle, by the way, is coached by Rick Newman, who used to coach with Bella Caroli down in Houston, and Geza Pozar, the man who defected the same day Bella did. He's a Romanian choreographer. Now they live out in Sacramento.
I do know it was a difficult decision for the coaches to make in terms of who would compete in the final 6. They decided on Michelle Campy, even though she's very inexperienced in international competition, because they thought the judges would appreciate this style. She's beautiful elegance. Double back dismount. Great landing. She has done a terrific job in this very pressure situation.
And she knows it, and she gets the obligatory hug once again from Bella Caroli as we look at Eugenia Popa of Romania, the Romanians in this rotation in floor exercise.
The Romanians certainly put a lot of pressure on the Americans in the first rotation, hitting beams so well. And in fact, they made up some ground.
A little something from the West Side Story.
Most of the Romanians chose American music for obvious reasons.
Michelle Campy, 9.862 on beam.
Eugenia was a member of the World Championship team for the Romanians 2 years ago in '89. She won a silver medal in the team competition there.
In this tumbling pass, you'll see she changes directions after the double twist. She does a punch front. For her final tumbling run, which is a very difficult one, a double back into a punch front somersault.
I have to admit, the choreography is rather unimaginative, don't you think?
I would agree. I don't care for the Romanians' choreography.
But the tumbling's good.
Tumbling is great. And certainly the choreography is not bad. I like the Soviets and the Americans a little bit better.
Choreography, if you don't mind a layperson's opinion, is almost independent of the music.
That's a pretty expert opinion, actually, Barry.
So Eugenia Popa of Romania, here's another look.
This is perhaps the best tumbling run. Round off back handspring, double back right to a punch front. This is very difficult, tough on the Achilles tendon, and especially at the end of the routine.
9.825 for Eugenia Popa, very representative score in floor exercise. As we look at Betty Okino now, the United States on the balance beam. Won the United States Championships in this particular discipline.
This is an excellent event for Betty. It's a place where she can really show off those long lines.
It's interesting, you guys have both been talking about long lines and how tall she is, and she's 5'1".
Doesn't she look like a giant
out
there?
She does.
Here's her most difficult tumbling pass, 2 layout step outs in a row. 1, 2, very nicely done. Betty is capable of performing a triple turn on 1 foot. And the last I heard, she's opted not to do it in the team competition for consistency's sake. It would be right here. Nope, just the double, but boy, that's terrific. Very difficult to spot, very risky.
It has been pointed out before that Betty was actually born in Uganda, her father being from Uganda and her mother Romanian.
Here's her dismount pass, 2 back handsprings to a double back. Very critical landing here. And 1 step on the landing. An excellent routine. And she continues the momentum of the American team.
And the crowd has to be helping this American team as well. Listen to the crowd. Bella Caroli, who at this point can really do little more than prowl the sidelines and be a cheerleader just like the rest of his team. The work really starts back home. And home is back in Houston at Caroli's Gymnastics. He and his wife Marta trying to get teenagers and sub-teenagers to focus on the business at hand.
What is so interesting is young generation, is this very, very typical age of 14, 15. You would think, well, they're gonna be shaky, they're gonna be concerned. No, that's the type of age, but they are not concerned on anything else. They are not concerned because they don't have anything to hold on to. They do not have great background, great achievements already. So they are relaxed, they are hungry, they have nothing to lose. They go for it.
Kim Zmeskal perhaps indicative of exactly the type of athlete that Bella Caroli is dealing with. Will she be the next in a long run of champions? Champions, of course, have to serve their time in the minds of the judges. Judges themselves at this competition being monitored. That is something that hasn't gone on for a long time. The question now then arises, does the monitoring system work? Ask the man who knows. Ask the coach. Ask Bella Caroli.
I'm not 100% sure this did work. And I'm not 100% they will ever work. Judges are doing the same thing just like before, and even though they're mentioning positively certain names which they don't count on the internationals like Puerto Rico, I don't know what kind of Argentinian judge was mentioned as positive, but nobody had a word about the notorious cheaters, the Soviets, the Romanian judge, was outrageously favorizing her own team, killing everybody on the medal area. They did not mention anything about the Chinese coalition, who was with the Japanese, even talking to the competition, setting the score right wherever they wanted to be set. And this way, I don't believe the whole system is really having any kind of efficiency. But, how I just told, any tendency, any try, any struggle in order to set a better, a more subjective appreciation among the judges in behalf of the gymnast is welcome to see. And I personally applaud.
Which brings us to this competition and a very young American team. Bella Caroli and his wife Marta are people who have won. He won in Romania. He won some individual tests. Can he win a team competition here? What does Bella expect this time?
A bronze or silver on this very competition would really comfort everybody, would give a great pride being a bronze or a silver or who knows what kind of medal winner in a world championship. By the time as individual athlete, being just an individual, an isolated individual, they would never be around, anything like that one. So on this way, they have a very good incentive to work toward a perfect goal, and that is the team competition medal, which gives, and puts in the second place any kind of personal egos or ambitions. Another way, sure, we are not lining them up like check figurines on the table. We are talking to them. We are setting. That's the way we feel like, we're going to be efficient. That's the way how we're going to force the medal out. That's the way how you're going to make yourself very proud. I'm talking a little bit earlier. They are young enough and they are innocent enough to feel comfortable in each other shadow, in each other vicinity, in each other help. And also they feel much more powerful as a unity than isolated individuals.
To those of you who want to see their little charge be the next Mary Lou Retton or Kim Zmeskal, he offers this advice.
Let them stay on their own clubs, appreciate the preparation, what they're getting on the smaller or larger community. Have enjoyed the team environment, the gym environment, and those little kids can enjoy the status of the little queen of the team, the little star.
We continue in the second rotation now. This is Tatiana Lysenko of the Soviet Union on the uneven bars. And the Soviet Union has been everything as advertised so far.
And she has a superb exercise on this event, particularly the dismount. It is just amazing, very difficult, and she does it extremely well. Here comes her first release move. Nice high Jaeger. Right into a Stalder on the low bar. Makes good use of both bars. Many of the gymnasts concentrate so much. There's that dismount. Beautifully done. Double front with a half twist. Very difficult to land, and she does it so well.
Svetlana Bogunskaya, of course, the acknowledged star of this team. But I'll tell you what, you watch this and you just say, for how long?
This was a nice combination of different types of skills. As I was going to say, most of the gymnasts concentrate on only the high bar work, and she does both.
9.987. How much do you have to go to improve? Tatiana Lysenko. As we look at Yang Bo of China, this is her second vault.
Yang Bo has been having some problems here in this competition. She had a fall on the floor exercise. She has some low back problem and a left Achilles tendon. It's very sore. So Yurchenko vault. Oh no, short on the rotation.
So that is her second. Her first vault was 9.675. Shannon Miller now, the United States. The Americans on beam. Betty Aquino, incidentally, a moment ago, 9.912 on the beam.
And this is Shannon's best event. This routine is difficult from start to finish. After this mount, she's going to swing down to a back roll to handstand, immediately into a back handspring layout.
Shannon, by the way, is coached by Steve Nuno from Dynamo Gymnastics in Edmond, Oklahoma. Steve, a Bella Caroli disciple of sorts. He worked under Bella for several months.
Here comes the most difficult pass in her routine. It has 4 elements in it. Back handspring, 2 layout step outs, into another back handspring. Very well done. Extremely difficult. Shannon takes so many risks in this routine. It's a nice combination. Along with Steve Nuno, Peggy Liddick has done an excellent job as the assistant coach, and she primarily works on the balance beam and floor exercise with Shannon. Here is a huge dismount, full twisting double back. Very well done, and will rival any of the Soviets on this event.
She knows she stuck it.
The Americans, by the way, have done so well on balance beam. Their averages are just under 9.9 to this point, the best U.S. team on the beam ever.
And Michelle Campbell got him started, 9.862. Here's another look.
Watch this series. 4 elements across the balance beam. Highly difficult. And this is just great. This really puts her in a class with the Soviet gymnasts. Very risky and very well done.
Oh, we mentioned the scores so far. Hillary Grivich, a 9.85. Carrie Strug, 9.85. Betty Aquino just ahead of her, 9.912. And now Shannon Miller waits for her score. So far, an excellent second rotation for the American women.
By the way, Shannon finished second in the entire compulsory competition, which is just outstanding.
There it is, 9.95 for Shannon Miller.
Very nice.
And in fact, one of the judges actually gave her a 10. That, of course, was dropped off. The high was dropped off, the low was dropped off. 9.95, not bad. At the floor exercise now, Cristina Bontas of Romania.
You're in for a treat with this routine because of the tumbling. She has 3 excellent tumbling passes. choreography and the music selection is a little unusual. Watch this opening pass. Double layout. He can't stick it any better than that. Little tumbling run is a whip back through to a double back. Highly energetic routine. Actually whip back with a full twist, even more difficulty.
Is this music off of a USA Greatest Hits album?
Yes. It's an old Romanian favorite, deep in the heart of Bucharest.
Watch this final tumbling run. Full twisting double back, but notice the open tuck position. Oh, that's great. Well, whether you like the composition or not, the judges are going to love that tumbling.
Cristina Bontas of Romania. Listen to the crowd. We mentioned this earlier, but this is a very knowledgeable crowd.
As you mentioned, Kathy, her tumbling is absolutely spectacular. This pass here, the whip back with a full twist right through to a back handspring to a tuck double back. Excellent combination.
So the scores for Cristina Bontas. Look at this, 9.962. She also had a couple of 10s. Scores very high in this second rotation. And there's more. Don't go away. Indianapolis has firmly established itself as the mecca for the big event in sports. It's a city that has become host to some of America's most grandiose parties. The 1987 Pan Am Games, for instance, their opening ceremonies set the tone for this city. They were held at the Indianapolis Speedway, itself the hallmark of auto racing's grandest day. When the Pan Am Games were held here in Indy, they suddenly seemed to have the kind of international impact they lacked before or since. Basketball played the Hoosier Dome this year as Duke won the hearts of the heartland, and with it, won the national championship, beating the unbeatable UNLV along the way. The 500 held Memorial Day weekend has become that sport's best. The self-proclaimed greatest spectacle in racing is just that. And this year alone, Indy has played host to some of sport's biggest moments. Who could forget the PGA and the emergence of a new American hero, John Daly? Tennis has its yearly run here in Indy as well, the GTE National Hardcourt Championships, that this year attracted Grand Slam champions like Pete Sampras and Boris Becker. And now it's the World Championships of Gymnastics, another event that the community has taken to heart and the world has noted. Jack Swarbrick, the chairman of the Indianapolis Organizing Committee, welcomed the world at the opening ceremonies.
To all of you, I say thanks for helping us share the magic.
He then pointed proudly to the facilities for competitors, media, and fans, and then answered the ultimate question. Is it just simply too much for the crossroads of America to handle?
First of all, if you pick your events carefully, as we try to do, you pick events that are compatible with each other. The crowd for this event, frankly, probably isn't the same as the crowd for the NCAA Final Four, but this way we've delivered an event to various segments of the community. But in addition, I think it's like anything else that you're trying to sell, and we want to sell our city. The repetitive nature of a lot of events in one year helps do that. I think Indianapolis has been in the sports spotlight this year in a way that's really pretty unique.
And it's almost as if that applause were meant for the city of Indianapolis, which has played host in magnificent fashion so far. One of the true stars of this sport, Svetlana Bulganskaya, and the uneven bars.
And like Kim Zemeskal, this is Svetlana's weakest event. In fact, she's taken out one of the skills in her routine. She's only doing that one release move, the reverse hecht. Therefore, her level of difficulty is somewhat decreased, but look at the perfect form on every single position. Pike double back and a great landing. One thing the judges cannot do here is take form deduction. She has none.
You're so right, Kathy. In fact, her form is so clean on this final sequence of the routine, but as you mentioned, the difficulty level is not there. She earned a lot of her accolades early in her career by doing big difficulty. Now she's riding on her perfect form and technique to get big scores.
Well, and it worked for yet another time. 9-9-6-2 the scores for Svetlana Boginskaya. When you look at the Soviet scores as we watch Kim Zmeskal prepare for her beam routine, Soviets simply remarkable in the second rotation. 9-8-8-7, 9-9-2-5, 9-9-2-5, 9-9-8-7, 9-9-7-5, 9-9-6-2.
And the Americans have been doing so well on the balance beam. They have just done extraordinary work, and as Bart said earlier, this is really the best American team that we have seen on the balance beam. This is Kim's most difficult pass right here. It's 2 layout step outs. Here's a nice segment of Kim's balance beam routine. Not that difficult, but it's excellent dance work down low to the balance beam. It's her gymnastics series, combining 2 leaps in a row.
This is the most assertive U.S. women's team. They really seem to be attacking the work on the beam. No hesitation in any of the acrobatic elements.
And they really, with the exception of Betty Okino, seem to be almost interchangeable parts. They are all almost exactly the same.
Here comes her dismount. Landing very important here. Very well done. You've got to keep in mind, too, the pressure that these gymnasts are under. They're sitting in second place. An American team has never won a world championship medal in team competition. So they've got to be feeling a lot of nerves at this point. There's a beautiful arched balance position that's called a reverse plunge. And this is really what Kim is all about. Look at the spring in her legs and her air awareness. She knows exactly where she is to drop it in for a nice landing.
And there are scores, 9-9-5-0 for Kim Zmeskal. So the Americans doing very well on beam as we get now to Tatiana Gutsu of the Soviet Union on the uneven bar.
Now you go from Boginskaya, doesn't quite have the level of difficulty necessary for this level of competition, to Gutsu, who has more than enough. Here's her first release move, way up in the air, a high ginger. Watch how much speed she generates on these giant swings. Come up with a big release move, reverse hack, and this dismount is gorgeous. Watch the position in the air. Opens up into that laid out position on the second somersault. Very well executed.
The Soviets combine not only excellent release work, that's a ginger, a backflip with a half twist, but good transition work down to the low bar as well.
Tatiana Gutsu, 9-9-7-5, 3 of the judges giving her a 10. And listen to the crowd. They are so appreciative of fine gymnastics, and believe me, that is what they're seeing here this evening. So the Soviets conclude another brilliant rotation. They, for all intent, have this thing won. The race continues for silver and bronze. The United States in second place ahead of Romania and China. Perhaps more than any other sport, women's gymnastics is left to the very young. It is a seemingly endless array of teenagers who seem to possess the marvelous ability of making everything that came before them seem obsolete. It is the better mousetrap personified. Just when you think you've seen the human body perform to its optimum, another sprite seems to come from another place and make all of it seem so simple. It is a here today, gone tomorrow sport, and it is for that reason that competitions like this one we're watching take on epic proportions. Today's champions are tomorrow's elders. These are the faces of champions to be, a look through the eyes of the moment at accomplishments that set the standard we'll talk about for however brief a time, until there is the next generation that in this sport, maybe more than any other, mother always seems to be nipping at the heels of the front runner. Get it now, because there might not be a second chance. You want pressure? You got it. And the pressure now on the Americans as they battle with Romania for the silver medal. Here is the order for them on floor exercise, Kathy.
The Romanians closed a little on the Americans in that last rotation, so the U.S. team really has to do very well on the floor exercise to hold them off.
And as she has done through the competition, Michelle Campy will lead it off for the Americans. She's done very well in that role so far.
It really is amazing how well she's held up. She was only 15th on the junior team last year, and now she's stepped into a role to be an important player on the senior national team.
She has such a pleasing style on the floor exercise. She opens with a full twisting double back. Oh no, stepped out of bounds. That's a 1/10 of a point deduction. The level of difficulty of her tumbling is not quite as high as some of the top competitors. She certainly makes the most of her ability. Double pike, excellent landing. Final tumbling run is a tuck double back. Very nice routine for Michelle. Just that one trouble spot in the beginning. Stepped out of bounds.
So Michelle Campy comes off to get the hug from Bella Caroli and her teammates.
That's Rick Newman there, her coach out in Sacramento. Although she did go out of bounds on her first tumbling run, this tumbling pass was very clean. It's a double back in the pike position, and the landing is solid.
So again, that first score is so important, and there it is, 9.725, not bad at all for Michelle Campy. Vanda Hadarian now of Romania.
Keep in mind the Americans only have a little over 2/10 of a point lead over the Romanians, and now the Romanians have posted a 9.95 and a 9.975 so far on vault. So they are really gaining on the Americans at this point. Another excellent vault.
That was her second vault, her first 9.762.
This is a Yurchenko vault, round off entry, laid out with a full twist. Of course, that hop on the landing will be a slight deduction.
So we'll see if she can improve on that 9.762. Vanda Hadarian of Romania. As we look at Mirela Pașca of Romania, there are the scores, 9.85 for Vanda Hadarian. So now Pașca, her first vault.
This is certainly a high-scoring event for the Romanians. And as I said, it's put a lot of pressure on the Americans over on the floor exercise. She also does the round-off vault with a full twist. Nice laid-out position. She lands with her feet so far apart, though, that will be a slight deduction.
Interesting story about this young lady. Last year at the European Championships, she won a gold on the uneven bars, and because of that, it was the first time we ever heard the Romanian national anthem, the new Romanian national anthem, and saw the Romanian flag raised in a major international competition.
And the score for Pașca, 9.9. Very good. Hillary Grivich now on floor exercise, and this is a big moment for her, Kathy.
Certainly is, and so far they are holding up to the pressure. Full twisting double. Oh, no. Fall and out of bounds. It's 5/10 of a point off for the fall and a 1/10 for going out of bounds.
That's the first mistake the Americans have had all day.
Now she's got to get herself together mentally and keep the rest of the routine in order.
Keep in mind that each team can drop one score on each event. And now this puts the rest of the Americans in a must-hit situation. Full and a half twist, due to a double full.
Hillary, by the way, lives an hour and a half north of Houston. Her parents drive her back and forth to the gym every day. What a commitment.
For Mirela Pasca on her second vault, 9.937, so she improves.
Her final tumbling run is a tuck double back. She needs a good landing here. Very nice. How unfortunate to have that fall early in the routine. Up to this point in the competition, she has done so well for the Americans, going up second in every event.
It appears that she just got a little over anxious and pulled her feet too far around on the landing. She's too pumped up.
So the score for Hillary Grivich, as you see, 9.087. Tough break. We'll be back. Up next for the United States, Betty Aquino, and Bart Connor right now has made his way into the crowd with Betty Aquino's father, Francis. Here's Bart.
Boy, you have to be immensely proud of your daughter. She looks great.
Yes, I'm definitely proud, but we were a little concerned that she has been hurt, and this is our major competition, so we are just happy that she got here at least.
Okay, well, here she goes for her floor routine. She's made this hundreds of times in practice. How do you feel now?
I know she has made it a lot of times, but any time, you know, anything can happen, but I hope that she will stick the routine.
Okay, here we go.
Betty Aquino had a fractured elbow and is still bothered while training on occasion, but I'm sure that's the furthest thing from her mind right now. Betty Aquino on floor exercise.
In terms of level of difficulty, the Americans are not quite up to par with the Romanians and the Soviets on this event. She opens with a pike double back. Keep in mind, many of the Soviets and Romanians are doing double layouts and full twisting double layouts. But where the Americans hope to make up for that is in their dance and their composition. Very nice triple turn. Little tumbling run. It's a whip back. Due to a double full. Final tumbling run is a tuck double back. Just pulls it around. A very safe routine, and that is Bella's strategy. Consistency, hitting all the routines, that's what he hopes to win a medal on.
Well, her dad, Francis, hoping she would stick the routine. I think it's safe to say that she did do that. She has to be pleased with it. Betty Aquino, one of the bright hopes for gymnastics in the United States here in these World Championships. Here's another look.
This was her last pass. It's a tuck double back. You can see she's a little slow getting her arms up, but what she does so well is pulls it right around for a good landing.
And the score for Betty Aquino, 9.875. She's got to like it. Meanwhile, on the uneven bars, this is Li of China. Watch this.
I am so excited we get to see this routine. She has everything in it, and most important, a lot of originality. Here's a reverse hecht going the other direction. Great amplitude. Now watch this. You won't believe it. It's a German giant into a reverse hecht. She is the first and only gymnast to compete that. On the uneven bars and a high tuck double back dismount. Great routine.
Great stuff. And once again, the crowd here acknowledging a great performance, no matter who does it. Li of China. Here's another look.
Great angle to see this reverse hecht. Beautiful amplitude. Now watch this next skill. It is complex. It's a German giant. She'll bring her legs through the bar right here and cast backwards over the bar. And this is the tough position. Just to hold onto the bar is immensely difficult. She will certainly be rewarded for this.
And there is her score, and she is in fact rewarded 9.95. Brilliant performance for Li Li on the uneven bars. Carrie Strug now, the United States in Florex.
She is a little dynamo on this event. Very energetic. Nice spring in her legs. Pike, full twisting double back.
Little dynamo on this United States team is almost redundant.
Second tumbling run is just like the first, except she'll do it in tucked position. Remember, all of the final gymnasts, they're in a must-hit situation. They have that one fall. They'd like to drop that low score.
Remember, the United States right now very close with Romania for second place. Romanians doing well in the vault. The Americans having to overcome Hillary Grivich 9.087 in the Florex. So everybody has to carry their weight here.
Comes that final tumbling run. Critical landing here. And she comes up with it. Great job.
And once again, the crowd applauding one of its own, Carrie Strug of the United States. Meanwhile, let's go back to the vault. Lavinia Milosevic of Romania. I have to say, this is what Mary Tyler Moore must have looked like at age 13.
I wonder if she could do the vault like this. Look at that. Yurchenko laid out with a full twist and a perfect landing. That vault was executed so well. She hit every important aspect of this vault right on the nose. Perfect lift, opens up in that flared position, and drops it in.
As we take another look at the vault of Lavinia Milosevic, let's tell you that Carrie Strug, a 9.912. We wait for the score of Milosevic, and there it is, 9.975. Some interested observers, Clarice and David Zamesco.
Right inside, Kathy, if you would, please.
Well, the theme of this year's World Championships here in Indianapolis is Share the Magic, and Kathy Johnson had a chance to literally share the magic. She was part of the Magic Act in opening ceremonies. Now, here's Kathy saying goodnight, Kathy.
This was a lot of fun, and fortunately, I'm not afraid of heights. It was a little precarious staying balanced in that.
You see that trump there high above our head? And this, what? Bang!
Oops.
Oops, and I'm gone.
This, Kathy Johnson!
All right. Now tell me, how'd you do it? Come on, it's just between us here.
I'm not telling, it's magic.
Tell you what, huh? She get into the theme of things. Speaking of the theme of things, it was just a couple of years ago in Stuttgart. The theme was Starlight Express in the opening ceremonies there. And I'll tell you what, it was the Soviets who really delivered the mail. Perfect vault here by Natalia Lashanova, a 10. And it just started a run of 10s for the Soviets. Svetlana Bugunskaya participating here also. Simply brilliant in Stuttgart 2 years ago.
She was certainly ahead of her time in terms of choreography. Very dramatic, and she's changed her routine for this competition.
Daniela Silivash, who now lives where? In Atlanta, Georgia, of all places. And a 10 for her in the vault. The Americans pinned their hopes on Brandy Johnson, but Brandy had nothing but problems coming into this event, physical problems of one sort or another, and it caused her some problems here on the uneven bars.
And though that was certainly a heartbreak for Brandy, she came back later in the competition and tied for a silver medal on the vault.
Tough moment for Brandy Johnson of the United States. She is retired mainly because of all the physical problems that she did have while competing. A very bright hope for the United States, though, in that competition in Stuttgart was this lady, Sandy Woolsey. She's an alternate on this team, but that'll give you an idea of the depth that the United States has right now.
She was 8th in the all-around at the World Championships in Stuttgart. One of the highest finishes ever for an American.
And now the United States trying to win a medal for the first time ever in World Championships. Shannon Miller in floor exercise.
And Shannon holds nothing back in this routine. She opens with a whip back through to a full twisting double back. Little low on the landing, but boy, she pulled it around. It's what I really like about this gymnast. She doesn't take anything out under pressure. She throws all her big tricks. Trains 8 hours a day, and it has certainly paid off here at the World Championships. Here's another full twisting double back.
A little bit of a misstep there. Going with kind of a Dixieland theme here is Shannon Miller.
Comes that final tumbling run. It's a pike double back. All of these landings are extremely important at this point. And she just pulls it around.
Once again, great music. It gets the crowd into it. It reaches a big climactic ending, and the crowd loves it. Shannon Miller of Edmond, Oklahoma. And she accepts the plaudits of her coach and from Bella Caroli. And now Caroli turns to his charge, Kim Zmeskal, and says, "You see what Shannon did? Now just go on out there and do the same thing."
This was a crucial routine for the American team. They really need some big scores on these final two routines, Shannon and Kim Zmeskal coming up, because the Romanians are doing exceptionally well over at the vault.
9.887 for Shannon Miller. Kim Zmeskal will be next, and Bart Connor right now is with some people with a very special interest in Kim.
Here with the Zmeskals, did you ever think it was going to be this great coming down to the last routine?
No, sure haven't.
I didn't think it'd be that tight, but it's wonderful. They're doing great.
Your feelings now?
We're just very proud of them and just very excited.
You're not nervous, are you?
I'm a nervous wreck.
That makes two.
We'll watch this with you.
Okay, thanks. Go, Kim!
So with the encouragement of Mom and Dad, here is Kim Zmeskal in floor exercise.
And this is an energized routine. A lot of punch in these legs. Full twisting double back. And she is off to a great start. Listen to that crowd. This second pass coming up is my favorite and always a crowd favorite. Count them, 3 whip backs through to a double back. A lot of energy. 1, 2, 3. Oh, look at that. And she just barely stays in bounds.
Look at the crowd behind Kim Zmeskal. Are they into this?
This is great choreography for Kim. Perfect for her style. Perfect to get the audience behind her. Just has one final tumbling run to go. It's a double back. And this is a close competition. She needs to stick this. Right in there.
Yes, Kim Zmeskal. Just listen to the crowd. Standing O.
What a moment. And what teamwork. They had the one fall earlier in the rotation, and all the final gymnasts came up with something great. They'll be able to drop that low score.
A rallying point. You saw Marta and Bella Caroli. We wait for Kim Zmeskal. Score, there it is, 9.95. Crowd wanted, they wanted a 10.
That concludes
you believe that?
In rotation 3, the athletes will
Never enough, is it? 9.95 for Kim Zmeskal. I'm sure she and I'm sure the coaching staff very happy with that score. Tremendous rotation for the United States, and they are really locked in battle right now. Betty Aquino looking up at the scoreboard and said, we're tied. And they are, in fact, tied with Romania for second place. Soviets in first place. This is Christina Bontas while we were watching Kim Zmeskal, her first vault.
And this was the weaker of her 2 vaults. She scored a 9.862 on this. But the reason that they're tied, she came back with a second vault and came up with a 9.95.
So what it does is it sets the tone for the final rotation. Soviet Union, they got the gold in the bag, but look at the battle for second place. This is what it all comes down to. The Soviet Union comfortably in front. They're going to win the gold. The battle is for second between the United States and Romania. Close is an understatement. They are in a flat-footed tie. Here is the order then for the United States, and a strong discipline for them, the vault. And first, as she has been throughout the competition and has done extremely well, Michelle Campi.
This is Michelle's weakest event. She's performing a Yurchenko tucked with a full twist. It's only worth a 9.9, so she has to perform it as perfectly as she can. Very well done. As I said, it has a lower degree of difficulty, so she really needs to rely on good form and good execution.
So that was Michelle Campi. Meanwhile, over at the uneven bars, first up for Romania, Maria Neculita.
This is a great opportunity to see the Romanians and the Americans go head-to-head, just back and forth. Here comes her release move, right after the front giant. It's a Jaeger front. Now you'll notice that she has slight knee bends throughout the routine. These will be minor form deductions, but they add up. She has a huge dismount, full twisting double back, and a great landing.
So Maria Neculita gets Romania started apparently very well on the uneven bars. Now Michelle Campi, her second vault, 9.75 on her first. She'll try and improve.
She's performing the same vault. Very nicely done. That's as well as she can perform that vault.
No question she'll score a little bit higher on that. As you mentioned, Kathy, it was cleaner. Better position on the landing. Rick Newman is pleased with it.
Score for Maria Neculita on the uneven bars, 9.85. Now what will Campi be able to do to offset that on the vault? 9.787. That is an improvement, but Romania out of the blocks a little bit quicker on this rotation than the United States. Remember, they started in an exact tie for second place. Campi has to be happy, though, and the coaches, I would think, Bart, have to be happy. Hillary Grivich up next in the vault.
A lot of pressure here for Hillary. Remember, she had a little trouble on the last event, the floor exercise. This is an opportunity to make up for that. All right, good vault for her. That step on the landing, though, will cost her. She really needs to come up with a stuck landing on that second vault.
She really takes this vault back. She gets a great deal of distance for a young lady who's only 4'6". Look at how far she travels away from the horse. Now she'll try to block a little bit more and set the vault higher on the second one and hopefully stick the landing.
Vanda Hadarian now for Romania, second on the uneven bars. 9.85, the first score for them, put up by Maria Neculita a moment ago.
She was the junior European national champion. There's her release move, a reverse heck. This is probably the Romanians' weakest event of all four. Giant full pirouette to a tuck double back dismount. Not a lot of difficulty in that routine, but she executed it very cleanly.
That's the critical thing at this point in the competition. is hitting everything right on top. All the handstands have to be clean. Beautiful work on the release move. On the dismount, here's the full pirouette right to the tuck double back. That landing counts.
And now the score for Hadarian. 9.85 the first score, as you mentioned, for Nicolita. There is Hadarian, 9.887 for her. So two very creditable scores. Meanwhile, back at the vault, Hillary Grivich on her first vault, 9.850, not too bad. She'll try and do a little bit better.
Oh, much
there was
better.
the one.
That's the one she needed. At this point in the competition, it is so close going head to head that the silver medal can be lost more than it can be won.
She really did get a good push off the horse this time to set herself up for the landing, but what's so amazing is how far she travels from the horse. She has to be 15 feet out there.
9.850 on her first. She'll try to improve. She does. 9.912. Hundreds of points separating the two teams in a battle for the silver medal, Romania and the United States. Let's not ignore the Soviets as we watch Betty Okino. First vault.
Oh, a little hop on that landing. And as you mentioned, Barry, this competition is so close that a single mistake could cost either team the silver medal.
Eugenia Popa of Romania now, third competitor on the uneven bars. Just want to make the point, the Soviets, and we don't mean to be ignoring them, they're going to win the competition. But this is a three-ring circus, more than one thing going on at one time. We focus on the medal chase now. Americans trying to win a medal for the first time ever in team competition.
And she is doing extremely well on the uneven bars. Big dismount, full twisting double back. That is a clutch performance. They need that.
Boy, that routine was really packed with difficulty. Two huge release moves. Beautiful form on that Ginger and an excellent transition to the low bar. And a big dismount. This is a double back with a full twist. Watch how she pulls that landing around and doesn't take a step.
Betty Okino, 9.85 on her first vault, 9.9 for Eugenia Popa. So we talk about hundredths of a point. That is the story of this competition so far in the final rotation. Okino's second vault.
Oh, talk about coming up with what you need when you need it. That's amazing. This team is so gutsy and very, very competitive.
And very, very young. This is a team that may be around for a little while. Back to the uneven bars, Cristina Bontas.
Here comes her first release move, reverse heck. Not quite the amplitude that she needed, but it was sufficient. There's better amplitude on her second release move. And a tuck double back. You really need that super amplitude to get the huge scores.
And now Shannon Miller in the vault. Okino's second vault. 9.937, an excellent mark.
Another great landing. All the Americans are performing the same vault, so Yurchenko laid out with a full twist. It's worth a 10.0 in the code of points.
They really are hitting them, too. She has such great technique. She reaches back to the horse. Look at how great her form is in the air. Legs straight, toes pointed. That's hard to do.
And hit the landing pretty good also.
She lands like a dart going into a dartboard.
Bontas in the uneven bars, 9.912. This is just great stuff. 9.937 on the first vault for Shannon Miller. She'll try and improve on that.
Little hop on that landing, so she'll take the first vault score. She has been outstanding in this team competition.
All right, that was a better ball. We just took the hop.
Another look at the second vault.
Come on, Carrie.
Little hop at the end.
As you mentioned, Bart, perfect form in the air. Legs straight, toes pointed. She just pulled it around a little too far and had to hop backwards.
So for Shannon Miller on her second vault, 9.925, she had a better first one. The battle continues. We'll be back.
Good job. Oh, your highest score.
Well, lest you think we've left out the best and given you the rest, I give you Svetlana Bogunskaya, arguably the finest woman gymnast in the world.
And this is a gorgeous routine. Very entertaining, very different. She opens with a full twisting double back in pike position. Step is precise. It's a nice combination pass, 1.5 twist, through the double back. Ends with a pike double back. Just exquisite.
Svetlana Bogunskaya of the Soviet Union, the winners once again in the team competition, as they have been for so many years. And the Soviet team. And the battle continues now for second place between Romania and the United States. Romania on the uneven bars, the United States on the vault in this last rotation. This is Mirela Pașca of Romania.
You can really feel the energy in this arena. So much pressure on every gymnast performing.
Romanians so far, 9.85, 9.887, 9.9. And a 9.912 prior to Pașca.
Two beautiful big release moves in this routine. And another big dismount. Oh, step on the landing. Those are the little things that are going to add up.
Boy, she has terrific form. Look at the pointed toes. Excellent form in the beginning of this move, and she breaks her leg form just a little bit on the end.
For Bogunskaya, 9.962 in that floor exercise. Now we wait the score, and there it is of Mirela Pașca, 9.887. Carrie Strug now, her first vault, 9.912. So she's already put pretty good numbers up there. She will try and make this one a little bit better.
Carrie is a very powerful vaulter. And another excellent job.
Could be a little bit better. Bella thinks so.
Go get him. Go get him.
Coaching staff is pumped up. Competitors are pumped up.
Boy, does she nail this vault. She is so powerful, as you mentioned, Kathy. Great position in the air.
And you see the reaction of Bella Karolyi. She waits for the score now. A little apprehension showing on the face of Carrie Strug so far in the vault. Campy 9.787, Grivich 9.912, Okono 9.937. There's the score of Carrie Strug, 9.925. So she does improve on it. We move to the uneven bars now. Lavinia Milošević.
She has beautiful work on this event. Long, fluid swing.
She's the last person to perform for the Romanians here.
And she needs to score big.
Opens with a very high release move. And, oh no! I can't believe it. What a thing to fall on. Just a transition move up to the high bar.
And the crowd, you can hear applauding for Kim Zmeskos' first vault. That could have been the kiss of death right there for the Romanians.
This is exactly what I meant when I said the silver medal could be lost more than won. That is what lost the silver medal for the Romanians.
Combined with Zemeskal 9.962 on her first vault, and needless to say, a most disappointed Lavinia Milosevic. So now it is for Kim Zemeskal, if she can, to put the icing on the cake. 9.962 on her first vault.
It was very ironic that Kim was performing her first vault right as Milosevic was falling off the uneven bars.
And it seemed even like the crowd reaction could have thrown her off a little bit.
It was right at that instance. Here she comes. Perfect!
Oh, I can't believe it.
Look at Bella Caroli. Look at the American team. There's Marta. They have done something special here. Never before has an American team won a medal in team competition.
This is going to be tough for the judges because though we've seen more difficult vaults, none have been landed that perfectly.
Watch for the score now.
This is just incredible. I cannot tell you how long the Americans have been trying to do this.
What a way to finish it. And there is joy all around in Indianapolis. That is a picture of happiness, folks. Look at this.
That's incredible. These gymnasts will not come down for a week. Unbelievable.
She is so aggressive on this vault. She runs so hard. Every aspect of the vault is clean and tight and quick.
Watch this reaction from the coach. Yes, he knows it. And how about this reaction from the Zemeskals? They knew it. Kim knew it. Bella knew it. The crowd knew it. And the United States women have put another chapter in the history book of gymnastics.
An amazing finish for these American women. Many of them competing in their first international event.
And of course, with the thrill of victory comes the other side of that. The United States, a silver medal. It's a first. Well, it has been an emotionally draining experience here at the Hoosier Dome. And as you can see, there are the inevitable autograph seekers. Somewhere in that crowd, incidentally, was Nadia Comaneci. Here is the coach, Bella Caroli, and Bart Conner has made his way down to the Americans and is with Kim Zemeskal. Here's Bart.
Kim, what a way to finish off the day with a 10.
This is so amazing. I mean, we're just so happy that we won the silver. That means so much to us.
You guys prepared so well coming in this competition. Did the crowd really help you today? It seemed like it really motivated you.
Oh yeah, the crowd helped a lot, especially since I was last up on all the events. Sometimes it's hard to keep yourself motivated, but with this crowd behind us, it was really easy.
Boy, heading into 92, this has to make you feel great.
This feels wonderful. I just hope we can repeat it and even do better next year.
Congratulations, wonderful competition.
Thank you.
Great.
Kathy, let's take another look at that final vault of Kim Zemeskal. Icing on the cake.
This really epitomized the entire American performance here at the World Championships. Coming up with clutch performances one after another.
Just terrific stuff. And of course, this was just the culmination of years of effort. Look at the reaction from the coaches, from the participants. There is a lot of happy people here in this arena, but no one any happier than the man that Bart Conner is with right now.
Will you talk to us real fast?
Sure.
What kind of message are you sending to the world with this performance?
Well, the message is out there. You know, the close chain of the socialist domination in women's gymnastics is broken forever. We got the place, and we're going to hold on to it as long as humanly can be done. And I believe we send a great message to our program, the American program, our kids tomorrow. I know millions of young ones going to head toward the gymnasiums and going to step and going to want to turn another Kim Zemeskal, Betty Okino, Shannon Miller, and all those ones who've been fighting so hard today.
Now, so many people thought in the Romanian system you could produce a great team. They said you couldn't do it here.
Well, you know, that was the mentality when we came here. You remember, because we've been fought at on the beginning. But I'm proud, yes, wherever in the world, no matter where you go, if you're taking the kids right, if you're holding them right, you're showing the light, that is the light. We can reach it, we can make it. They are following you. There is no mistake. They don't want to be participants. Everybody in the world wants to be a winner. And as long as they lead it up right, they're going to be the winners.
It's a great day for U.S. Gymnastics.
It's a great day. It's a great day. Thanks.
Where do I sign up? We'll be back. To the victors, of course, the spoils, in this case the gold medal to the Soviet Union. This, of course, a team that has been here on many occasions. Medals take on different meaning to different teams. The Soviets have made a habit out of winning the gold medal. For the United States, however, winning a silver medal is winning indeed. I remember talking, Bart and Kathy, to Kristen Cooper when she won a silver medal, and she said it took her a little bit of time to get used to the fact that, hey, I didn't lose and get a silver medal. I won a silver medal. And that's what these Americans, I'm sure, are feeling right now.
The Americans have been on the brink of that cherished top three for so long now. They were fourth at the Olympics in '88, fourth at the last World Championships, and finally, not only moving into the top three, but a silver medal.
And I think the other thing that's significant about this team is this is a very young team. This is a team that conceivably could be together for quite a while.
When you look down at that group of young ladies, you certainly feel this would be the strongest six to represent the United States at the Olympics next year in Barcelona. But there are a few others out there. But if this young team can stay healthy, they will certainly be a factor next year.
And the crowd, of course, receiving the American team, as you might expect, based on the performance that they have given all of them tonight. There's a familiar face, Mary Lou Retton, of course, and she's leading cheers too. There's Lance Ringnahl.
What a moment. You never forget this as long as you live.
Kim Zmeskal, Shannon Miller.
Carrie Strug is an impressive young lady. I expect she'll be one of the strongest members of the team by next year. She's on her way up. She's only 13 years old.
Hillary Grivich in her first major competition, as you said. And how about this lady, Michelle Campy, also in her first major competition. What did she give this team, leading off in every rotation? And finally, Betty Aquino. What a story. There they are, folks. First and second place. Third place in the bronze medal going to Romania. And we told you different medals take on different meanings. And for the Americans, of course, there is sheer joy as they get their flowers. For the Romanians, I'm sure very much the other side of that coin. They don't really feel at this point like they won anything.
The only other time that the World Gymnastics Championships were held in the United States was back in 1979. That's when Nadia Comaneci was a member of the Romanian team. They beat the Soviets and won the gold. Here they're going to have to accept the bronze.
And what you're hearing here is not just polite applause. This is applause for a job well done. And finally, the presentation of the bronze medal, and that will go to the Romanians, who came in here, I'm sure, with a lot higher hopes.
This certainly was a huge upset. The United States team has never beaten the Romanians in major competition.
When you think about all the things that the Romanians have been through over the last couple of years with the revolution and the closing of the National Training Center, they have come back very strongly in the last 6 months to put together a strong team. They'll be a factor, and they'll be back in '92.
Yeah, and you have an idea that this loss could make this team a little bit hungrier as you look ahead to Barcelona in '92.
Well, they'll be back with a vengeance, I'm sure.
So what happens now for our team, if you will? And again, this is a team that has only been a team for a very short period of time. What happens between now and the Olympic Games?
Well, they go back to their respective gyms and begin that long training process for the Olympic Games. And as we said, between World Championships and Olympics, it's very much an individual sport, though they push each other in terms of reaching their potential. I think we'll see even greater things, hopefully, in Barcelona.
Nice show of gesture here as the Romanians shaking hands with their conquerors in this particular competition. That's the new Romanian flag, incidentally.
The one without the socialist crest in the middle.
Milosevic, very melancholy moment, I'm sure, for her. We Eugenia Popa next to her.
You look back at the scores, Milosevic, even if she didn't fall off the uneven bars, the Americans were so strong today that they were going to win.
Aderian.
This is certainly going to set up a very fierce competition in Barcelona.
Well, the difference in the moods here is startling. The bronze medal and the silver medal. The Americans, of course, extremely happy. The Romanians, not so at all. They feel they lost. The United States feels it won. The Soviets, and you can't take anything away from them, simply brilliant. Look at these faces, folks. You're going to see them around for a long time. The 1991 World Gymnastics Championships. The women's team final was brought to you tonight by Diet Coke. You're going to drink it just for the taste of it. So it is over, and the Soviets have won it, and the United States, well, they won it too. A silver medal, the first time an American team amongst the women has ever medaled in team competition. Let's take a look then at the 12 teams who will be competing at the Olympic Games in Barcelona. The Soviet Union, of course, the United States, now a power in this sport. Romania and China, those are the top four. Then Bulgaria and Australia, 2 upshots. Spain, they'll be the home country, remember, and Hungary. Those are 8 of the 12. The final 4 teams who will be competing in Barcelona then will be the People's Republic of Korea, Germany, France, and Canada. Those are the 12, and it should be a most entertaining competition. David and Clarissa Meskel meeting their daughter Kim Zmeskal while the team prepares to meet the media. Happy day all around. Here's mom, the kiss for her daughter, and why not? What a job she did. A 10 just to finish it all off. And the coach, Bella Caroli. Happy mommy, happy daddy, happy everyone in this room. What a night for the Americans. They came from around the globe to this Midwest city in America, from 51 countries.